Hello and welcome to episode 11 of How to Do Digital Marketing, where we help people learn and apply the practical aspects of digital marketing in their professional work or in their business. How to Do Digital Marketing is your go-to platform for anything that you want to learn about digital marketing, whether it's SEO, whether it's website development, whether it's social media marketing, whether it's content marketing, PPC, or advertising. To visit, please visit www.howtododigitalmarketing.com. In episode 11, we are going to talk about search engine optimization or SEO, which is one of the fundamental practices that you need to apply in digital marketing. But first, what is SEO? So SEO is nothing but trying to get your page, your domain, your article on page 1 or 2 of Google. It is the process of optimizing the content that you have so that when somebody is searching for your particular product or a particular kind of article, your article is the one that comes up on page 1 for a certain keyword. The benefit is that it helps to increase the quality of website by making them user-friendly, faster and easier to navigate. Just imagine that today all of us tend to use Google. Now imagine a situation where there was no Google. Where would you go and look for information? Obviously, the library, your local neighborhood library is a great place where you would go to look for information. Now let's say, assuming that you were born in, let's say, the late 90s when Google did not exist, and you wanted to go and check out travel destinations to London. You would go to your local library and probably you'd ask the librarian, could you suggest to me books that I could read which could tell me what I should visit when I go to London? The librarian obviously will tell you, hang on for a second, let me go and bring you some books. And the librarian comes back with a set of 10 books and gives you the 10 books and says, you would find information here. The question is, there are millions and thousands of possibly books in a library. What made the librarian choose just these 10 books to show to you instead of, let's say, 1,000 books? The librarian obviously had a method in which she knew that what is the kind of book to show to you which will satisfy your informational need. In the same way Google works. Google stores millions and millions of websites, information, online content on their engines, and they search this information through millions of websites. And when somebody types in a particular search query or a particular word on the Google search bar, Google looks through all the millions of websites that it has crawled and shows you the most relevant information or most relevant content that Google believes would satisfy your informational need that you have set for yourself. So therefore, you have to be very careful in terms of how you project or how you write or how you create your content on the internet so that Google understands what your website is all about, what is it that you want to talk about, and then matches that with what the user has typed in. Take an example. Suppose you are, let's say, a manufacturer of white sauce pasta, and you want that anybody, when he or she types white sauce pasta, it is your product or your website or your article that has to come up on the first. With the SEO magic, Google will include the article as on the top results if you do your SEO or search engine optimization carefully. Now that's a big advantage because today millions, all of us, in fact about 90% plus percentage of the population uses Google to search for information. And if you're able to get your information on page 1, the chances of somebody clicking on the information is extremely high. And therefore, SEO becomes very critical if you want to be a good digital marketer or you want to use digital marketing for your business. Let's look at why is it that it's so important. The primary reason why it's so important is because, as I mentioned, search engines look at serving queries or information to people. So there's Google, there's Bing, there's even Yahoo, which are all good search engines with its own set of customers, own set of users who prefer to use that. So therefore, when somebody is typing a particular query, you want to make sure that your content is given on page 1 of that search query. And in a particular page, if you type any word, you'll typically find 10 queries or 10 content being served to you. If you don't find what you're looking for in the page 1, you go to page 2. If you don't find what you're looking in page 2, you probably might go to page 3. But very rarely does any one of us go beyond page 3. What we do, if we don't find the information that we're looking for in page 1 or page 2, we typically type a different information or different search queries so that Google serves us a separate set of information. So therefore, if you're a webmaster or a digital marketer or you're running your own business, you need to understand how it is that Google searches. You need to understand what it is that you need to do on your site and outside your site to make sure or to increase your chances or probability of making sure that your content is put on page 1, because that way you can target the large natural organic traffic and get more visitors coming to your website to understand your business. Let's look at 5 reasons why you should be considering investing in organic SEO. First one is the clear fact that about 80 to 90% of customers today actually go on the net when looking to buy a particular product or particular service. They go on the net to understand that particular product, understand the particular business, understand what other people are talking about that particular product or service prior to making a purchase decision. Therefore, it's very important that they need to see about you or hear about you on the internet. Without organic SEO, people will find your competition, because that's what they will get to see. They will not get to see your product, they will not get to hear about your product or your service, but they might find your competition. So therefore, if you are not there on organic SEO and your competition is, you are going to lose business. And therefore, it's very critical that you need to be there on doing organic SEO so that you can grab a market share. Obviously, if your organic search rank is higher than your competitor, you will gain more customers, more traffic coming to your website. The second is the fact is that SEO is extremely cost effective. Assume a situation that you do not do SEO, but yet you want to capture all the people who are searching, let's say, for tourist destinations in London, and you are selling air tickets, for example. You might obviously say that let me do Google AdWords, let me look at PPC, so that when somebody types tickets to London, I want to show my ad to them on page 1. Great, that's a great way to actually serve your content to people. But bear in mind that this comes to you at a cost. It is not free. And therefore, each time somebody clicks on it, as we saw, PPC stands for pay per click. It is you paying for a click. Whereas for an organic, you're not paying for any click. Number 2 is that you will keep getting clicks on PPC as long as you are advertising. The minute you stop advertising, you're no longer being seen by people who come on page 1. But SEO on the other hand, no matter whether you do it today or 2 years down the line, you are there on page 1, and therefore it's long term. You can get long term clicks, you can continue to getting business much later than when you started doing your SEO. And therefore, in the long run, SEO is far more cost effective than doing PPC. The third is, as we talked about earlier, it puts you ahead of competition, because a search engine optimized website is therefore more visible and will able to make more sales. It's very simple. Let's say you have a hotel and your competition also has a hotel both in the same neighborhood, but your hotel is visible from the main road, whereas your competition is you have to actually go onto a side road before you can get to see the hotel. Which hotel will get a large number of walk-in traffic? Obviously, the one that is visible. And therefore, SEO makes your site visible to people and discovery, as we have seen, is one of the fundamental principles on which digital marketing works. The fourth aspect is that you get also repetitive customers. Optimization website helps you to boost traffic, and therefore you start getting repetitive customers. and higher visibility. It works on both local as well as national scale. So if you're running a restaurant, for instance, you're really not concerned of somebody who's, let's say, in Bombay or somebody in Allahabad. In case you're running a restaurant in, let's say, Connaught Place in Delhi, you're essentially interested in that geography area or the geographic residence, because every local business operates on a geography area or a neighborhood, and therefore you can use search engine optimization to actually localize your search results so that only people in that particular area, when they type a particular query, gets to see your website or your restaurant. And therefore, or you could be a business who's actually doing business across the country or maybe across the globe. So no matter whether you're a local business, a geographically dependent business, a national business, or a global business, each business can benefit from doing SEO. And SEO is like your marketing team. It's an unpaid marketing team. It works 24/7, and it only tries to do one thing: make your product visible to people when they're searching for your product or for your service or for something related to your industry. Why is SEO so very critical and so very tough to do? It's not an easy thing to do. A lot of people try to do it, but it's extremely difficult. It's extremely tough. It requires a lot of patience, but the benefits far outweigh the time investment that you do into SEO. Give you an example. Every day there are about 2 million people who publish blogs. That's 60 million blogs of content that is published every day. In about the time that I spoke this one sentence, there are almost about probably 100 people who have published a particular blog. So you're actually operating in a very competitive environment. Obviously, not all 60 million can come on page one. Only a few millions would come on page one, depending on the search query or depending on the search keyword. So you're really in a very competitive environment, and that's what makes it, number one, difficult. Number two is that the algorithm on which Google serves the information or serves the content is something which nobody knows. There's a lot of assumptions. There are a few standard practices that you need to follow, but what the exact algorithm is, nobody knows. And to make it more difficult, Google keeps changing the algorithm every now and then, because end of the day, Google wants to make the user experience the best. They want to make sure that the user, when he types a particular search query, gets the most relevant content that he has typed in. So contextual information is what the Google tries to obtain or tries to search, crawl and serve to its customers. In SEO, there are essentially two aspects that you need to look at. One is a term which is called on-page SEO, and second is a term which is called off-page SEO. And let's look at broadly and briefly on each of these aspects. What is on-page SEO? On-page SEOs are essentially factors determined directly by what you actually have put on your website. And we'll get a little bit of depth into each of these in subsequent episodes. Off-page SEO depends on what you have done outside your website. This could be a social networks, this could be a discussion forums, this could be on directories, this could be on a whole lot of other places which have nothing to do with your website. But what is it that people are talking about? It could be reviews which people have put about. That's part of off-page SEO. On-page SEO, on the other hand, is what content and what keywords and how you have optimized your site on your website, which Google looks at. And what is important is that Google will crawl your website no matter whether you optimized your website for on-page or whether you have not optimized your site or on-page. But what you rank for, how much you get up into the rank, whether you're on page 1 or page 100 or page 300, is determined by your on-page factors. And how high you rank in the search results is determined by off-page factors. So if your on-page is not good, you might not get even ranked by Google. But if your on-page is good, you might get ranked. But if your off-page is not good, you might not rank in the high category, in let's say page 1 or page 2 or a page 3. So therefore, both on-page and off-page are equally important when you are doing SEO. Let's look at what's the impact or what happens when you do either of these two badly. At the bottom, if you look at, if you're good on page and you're good on off page, you become very competitive in keyword ranking and you have a high chance of coming on page 1. However, if you're bad on page and you're good on off page, you will not get ranked very effectively. And the last, if you're bad on page and bad on off page, you will obviously have no rankings. Google will simply crawl it, but it will not understand what you are, who you are, what do you do, what do you serve, what is the kind of solution you're providing. Google knows nothing about you. For Google, you are a question mark, and therefore Google will not able to rank you and tell people, even if your solution is the best solution, what you are. So it's very critical. On-page SEO tells Google who you are, what do you do, how you do, what, how, why, where is what you put on your on-page, so that Google understands who you are and what you are, so that if somebody is searching for it, knows, okay, this is flight tickets to London. That's what this site is all about. But obviously, you're not the only one selling flight tickets. There are millions of other people selling flight tickets. So which company's information will Google put up? That will depend on how good your off-page SEO is. If your off-page SEO is very good, then you will probably come on page 1. If your off-page SEO is not good, you'll probably end up in page 100. But if you do not tell Google what is it that you sell, Google will not even understand what you are. Let's take an example, on the more relevant example. Let's say you're running a hotel in Central Delhi with a very nice building and you want to do SEO. So let's look at what is the impact. Let's say your hotel is super clean from inside. It's a lovely, sexy hotel. You have great ambience, you have great rooms, you have great service, you have got great everything. But your hotel looks terrible. It's not invisible. It's in a dark, danky street, 3 blocks inside from the main road. So the question is that no matter how nice your hotel is from the inside, people will not discover you. So therefore, in terms of a site, if your article or your site is super optimized, that in terms of great content, people will love it, you know that people will love it if people only were to come and see it. But the problem is, how will people come? How will people discover you? And if people do not discover you, they will not click on you. And if they do not click on you, you will never come to understand how great a company or how great a hotel that you are. So therefore, that's how important your on-page SEO is. Look at the other scenario. You have a sexy building on the main high street with a lovely board, great looking building. People look at it and say, wow, that's a great looking building. But inside, the minute they come inside, they find out that the walls are rotten, the bedspreads are thinning, there's water running in all the rooms, there are rats, there are cockroaches, the food is terrible, and inside the hotel is absolutely messy. So the point is that if your hotel has great exteriors, if your website has great exteriors, but inside is messy, what will happen? You will simply come, visit and get out immediately because you say this is not for me. So therefore, if your on-page SEO is great, people will visit you. You will get ranked well. People will visit you, but they will visit you and get out immediately, which comes to a concept called a bounce. So bounce is essentially people who visit only one page of your website and then exit. And Google tracks this bounce rate as it's called. So the higher the bounce rate, the worse your page will rank. So Google automatically understand, hey, this is a site which a lot of people are coming in, but a lot of people are getting out as soon as they come in. They're not even spending any time on the place. So therefore, this site is not as important as a site which has a lesser traffic, but people are staying for a longer time. So if your competition is, let's say, 100 people coming in only, and you have 1,000 people coming in, but out of 1,000 people, let's say 950 people only view one page, Google will rank you far lower than somebody who has got 100 visitors and has got a very low bounce rate. Let's say only 10% of people walk out after watching one page. The rest of the 90% people stay on the site. Then Google will believe and understand and perceive that the competition is far superior than who you are. So therefore, you need to do both on-page SEO very well, and you need to do both off-page SEO very well. You can need to get both right to get not only being ranked, but ranked on page 1 or on page 2. Beyond page 1 and page 2, your number of clicks will go down extremely drastically. And that brings us to the end of this session. We will get on to in episode 12, 13 and 14. We will go into depth of what is on-page SEO and what are the factors of on-page SEO that you need to consider. And we'll also look at off-page SEO and what are the factors that you as a business owner, as a webmaster or as a digital marketer need to consider if you are doing off-page SEO. So that's the end of episode 11 on the fundamentals of SEO. Thank you and have a great time. If you want more resources, tips, guides and courses, please do visit www.howtodigitalmarketing.com. Please subscribe to our channel also, and we would love it if you share this content. If you liked it, please share it. There's a lot of giving in this world. We'd love you to give and share this content with other people. So until the next episode, thank you and have a great day.